This podcast is part of the 80s Ruled Network. Visit the 80s Ruled on Facebook for more 1980s awesomeness.
You don't remember the Mickey Mouse Club?
No, I watched it. I don't remember a surprise day, though.
Every Friday, surprise day, surprise day. It's Mouseketeer surprise day where anything can happen.
Okay. Now,
and it usually does.
Is this the Mouse Club when they brought it back for like a year in the late 70s?
No, this is the genuine Mickey Mouse Club in the late 70s. Yeah,
that's what I just said, the late 70s.
You were under the assumption I was listening to what you were saying. I was just waiting for my turn to talk.
Welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. My name's Will. I almost said my name's John. Is that why you shook your head, John? You really caught me?
Yeah, it was my introduction.
My name is...
And I'm Will. Thanks for joining us.
It's Wacky Upside Down Friday or whatever John was saying. Surprise Friday. But it's not Friday and it's... whatever. Hey,
it's going great.
My name is Will, and joining me as always are my friends and co-hosts, Kat and John.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And in addition to his co-hosting duties here, please check out John on his very own podcast, Gen X Grown Up.
Yes, do that.
Hey, on today's show, even Kat and John don't know this. On today's show, Kat and John are going to travel back to a Toys R Us in the 1980s with $75 in their pockets to go on a shopping spree. And then we're going to travel back here to 2022 to see the current value of their purchases.
Oh my gosh.
And make it interesting. We can call it a game. Say the one with the most valuable toy collection, in 2022 wins.
Oh,
now, this doesn't include any actual toys John has, though.
How do you know?
One of the tricky things about this was like, I got to make sure John just doesn't know the value of all these toys. I mean, he's just going to run away with it.
What are the odds?
Got to mix it up.
He already has an unfair advantage on this.
Yep. Well, I don't know. You got to see the toys we get here.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Rainbow Bright and Cabbage Patches and stuff that I never had.
I didn't have them either.
The evil Will has planned it out.
But then you're even then, Kat.
We are even. Yeah, I think probably.
One of those is on the list. Oh. All right. Hey, before that, though, we're going to review current news stories related to 1980s media, including Steve Perry. I'm going to need your help with this in a second. Steve Perry sings "Don't Stop Me Briefing." That's the best. Can you squeeze a legal term into a Journey song better than I can? Don't stop me briefing. I'll let you think
Not on the spot.
Don't stop debriefing is.
It's pretty good.
Excellent. Yeah, that's excellent.
The fan favorite that was killed by COVID in spite of his mask. Well, it's because he only had half a mask, I guess.
Yeah.
The original Quantum Leap character who never left the show, maybe?
This blew my
always
mind.
in the show? The secret original character that's on the show? I don't know. Something like that. And the even nexter Karate Kid. I don't know what comes after next, right? Okay. Hey, I wanted to, though, however, make a couple of announcements. This Wednesday, September 28th, join us on Facebook Live at 9 p.m. Eastern as we play 1980s trivia. Is Kat moving her mic away so she doesn't say, "What do you mean, tomorrow?"
I just was checking to make sure.
I already checked with you. And it's on the calendar.
It is on the calendar.
It's legit.
Wanted to make sure I transferred it from a text exchange to my paper calendar.
I will definitely be there.
I will be there too. And actually, it's Wivia Wednesday.
Oh, right. Wivia Wednesday.
That's what I wrote.
Wivia Wednesday.
Yeah.
Join us for Wivia Wednesday. Hey, you could win, if you're there, you could win $50 if you know the most about 1980s pop culture and answer the questions quickly. I guess. I don't know.
Yes.
Hey, as a side
smart
note,
and fast.
Yeah. Unrelated, but I'll play this chime just to break up away from the trivia. Hey, we heard from our Patreon supporter and listener, Marcus Taylor. Now, if you remember, it was a couple weeks ago, maybe it was I guess it was probably last week. We were talking about the D23 trailers, including the, how Indiana Jones made an appearance, or rather Harrison Ford made an appearance to talk about it. And he praised the new film, saying it would kick your ass. And I made the comment, I could not find a contemporary interview with Harrison Ford talking about the Crystal Skull.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, Marcus forwarded me a video link to Harrison Ford talking about Crystal Skull.
No way.
Now, I watched it, though, and it seems like it was filmed at the same time he was making the movie, so he didn't have the perspective to even probably comment on it. But nowhere throughout it does he actually say the movie is good. He says, I think people will find it exciting. My co-stars are this and that. Never, but
I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah.
I have a whip.
He has the costume on when he's doing an interview. So I don't think he probably put it on just for an interview. It seems like they're filming the movie and he took some time away to answer
Harrison
some
Ford is
questions.
not the kind of actor who would cosplay
as
for publicity.
No.
No.
So we should offer a reward. If you can do this, if you can find an interview with Harrison Ford saying that The Crystal Skull is a good movie, let us know and we'll figure out some way of rewarding you.
Good luck.
All right. Hey, that's enough of that. Let's get caught up on 1980s news. Don't stop me. It said, don't stop me briefing.
Don't stop me. Oh, I thought it was debriefing.
Yeah, I don't know if debriefing would be the same thing.
Debriefing. That's just when you take off your underbritches.
Yeah.
Oops. Right.
And if you could think of a better pun, I don't know. Keep it to yourself. Nobody wants to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
Another contest. Oh, no.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, as reported by Ultimate Classic Rock, Steve Perry is suing Journey over Journey songs. I've often heard, and it seems recently, that Steve Perry's kind of an asshole. Have you guys ever heard that?
He's never been mean to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in any case, and I don't know that I'm being unfair because look, if he's got some legal rights for the action he's pursuing here, then by all means he should exercise them. Steve Perry filed a petition to cancel trademark registrations for 20 Journey songs filed by former bandmates Jonathan Cain and Neil Schon. The motion involves some of the group's best-known radio favorites: Separate Ways, Open Arms, Any Way You Want It. Perry's petition says that in 2020, Cain and Schon registered trademarks to use the song on hats, T-shirts, jackets, other types of merchandise. And that he says, per an earlier agreement, they cannot make decisions like this unless they all agree. And he says this is the first he's heard of it, is that the trademark was already granted.
There's a lot I don't understand about this stuff.
Well, it seems like what it sounds like. So, and maybe it's better or clarified by what Sean says himself, Neil Schon. He shared a link to the lawsuit on social media and provided a written statement that began with, "What a bunch of total crap."
Oh.
He goes on to explain how he learned that trademarking songs is an important addition to copywriting songs. Not a legal person, a singer, he's a guitar player.
Right.
He didn't know about the difference in the different rights that run to the various ones. Now, I'm trying to put my lawyer hat on for a second here. I'm going to take it off. No one wants to really hear about that.
Nope.
It will take me a little while to think this through. But the idea, I guess, of copyright, obviously, is about the publication of the song. And anybody else who tries to use that song, playing at a radio, doing a cover version, all that kind of stuff. So taking the name of the song, Open Arms, and putting on a T-shirt, that's what we're talking about here.
That's different, right?
That's different.
That's something entirely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think it would be.
So he explains that it seems like nobody as the band's management, their lawyers, was ever looking out for the band, that there were a bunch of corrupt folks only looking to benefit for themselves. And among those things was somehow not copywriting or trademarking the names of the songs, was somehow taking advantage of the band. And he was looking to correct that with these trademark filings.
Maybe. It's unfortunate anytime creative types run up against, especially creative types that have to collaborate, run up against, when you start at the beginning of a creative process, everybody is on board and you're all on the same page. No one would ever consider backbiting anyone or doing anything. And you're like, dudes, want to make T-shirts? Sure. And everybody shakes hands and you go. But when you get to the tier of like a Journey or a Rush or somebody like that, that's, even the name of your song has intrinsic financial value. That money starts to gnaw away at the handshake that you had when you were maybe 40 years younger. And, it's like, you don't want to, it's like a prenuptial. It's like, hey, we're starting a band. It's going to be great. Who knows, we'll be successful. We should go some legal binding. Well, that tamps down the creative process. Nobody ever does that. And then it hurts later.
Sure.
It hurts later. Everybody involved.
Although I want to say, boo on their attorneys, assuming they had them at the beginning. Maybe they didn't, because that's their job, to be the jerks and come in and say, look, you love each other now. Bye.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
When you start to get big enough, someone should step in and go, dudes, I'm glad you're all happy. Let's lock down the agreement. What are we all shaking hands on? Let's put it on paper. That would eliminate all of this. So you're right. It's not their fault. You're right. They're creative types. Why would they know? They should have had somebody advising for them.
You always imagine, like, if I was in this situation, I could be the bigger person and help bring these sides together and, broker. But you don't know. You never know.
Right. In 30 years, when we're all fighting for control of 1980s now, Will will be the one to step in and go, come on, John, Kat, and Jimmy, who's the fourth host that hasn't joined yet. You weren't even there in the beginning.
That's right, Jimmy. Sit down. I'm looking over at my idiot's trademark.
Oh,
it's not worth the frame that it's hanging in.
Oh no!
I was so clever then.
That's a bummer. I feel bummed out when, like people that have, like John was saying, have been through a cool creative thing, and then they're just not getting along. Yeah, and I'm not a huge Journey fan, but something from our youth, it's almost like mom and dad fighting, you hear these songs and it's from a time where, as far as we knew, everybody got along because they were able to create these things. And now the reality is, they've been split up for some time. All right. Hey, another 1980s news. As reported by the New York Times, the Phantom of the Opera, Broadway's longest running show, is set to close. Oh, man.
For many, this show, a symbol of musical theater, will drop its famous chandelier for the last time in February, becoming the latest victim in the drop-off of audiences since the pandemic hit. The closing is at once long expected. Shows don't run forever. I mean, this one's been running for, 35 years or so.
Right, yeah.
But it's also startling because it's hard to imagine a New York, Broadway without the Phantom.
Right.
That's been the anchor on Broadway. That's the show that is always there. Yep. Like little shows come and go and they struggle and whatever. And Phantom is like, well, there's Phantom and then there's everything else. And I'm a huge lover of live theater of any. When I used to travel for business all the time, any town I went to, if I had a day where I wasn't busy, I would see what live stuff was going on.
That's cool.
And it wasn't always good, but it never was disappointing.
It was
something about the real people on the stage, no net, and if they win or if they fail, at least they're there with you. And it's very real and very visceral. And and I know that I was a musician, never a theater nerd or anything, but just like we talked about Journey, when you work together to create something like this, as those people have done they've gone through different cast members, but for that to go away, it's a cornerstone. I hate to see it go. Andrew Lloyd Webber, well done. What a long lasting legacy. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a forgettable sequel to this musical. Never see it, Kat. Never.
There's a sequel?
There was a sequel to Phantom, yes. Oh, it's terrible.
Oh,
Love Never
tell.
Dies. Oh, it's horrible.
Is he? Oh, I thought he was setting us up for a joke.
No,
I thought that was
there really is a sequel to Phantom. It's horrible.
It's a sequel on Broadway, off Broadway?
It ran on Broadway.
Wow.
But it was bad. I don't know how long it lasted. And then it went on tour at some point. Yeah, it's...
So he had plastic surgery and his face was all good now and he got rid of the mask. And
they might as well. I mean, in this sequel, it's now set place in Coney Island, New York, after the events of Phantom of the Opera. And everyone is relocated to New York. And I think it's Raul who is at a bar, because I think Raul is an alcoholic now and he's having, marital problems with Christine. Okay. And he's at a bar complaining to the bartender who turns around and it's the Phantom.
No, it's not.
I did not make any of this up. It's all true.
I am generally predisposed to trust Will. However, I have been burned on several occasions.
Look, I did not lawyer that wording of that question. It was clear as day.
Who could the bartender? Oh, let's tell him the bartender's the Phantom.
He'll find that video clip. You guys are going to be stunned.
My goodness. He turns around. He's like Isaac. Hey, I'm the Phantom. He's off the Love Boat now.
It's a Love Boat episode.
Oh my goodness. No.
Not even the Phantom.
Well, I'm glad that closed, but I'm sad to see the actual Phantom close.
Yeah. Did you guys ever get to see it anywhere in any theater anywhere?
Yep. I did. I saw it actually the spring before the pandemic. I believe it was 2019.
Did you? Yep.
And that was my first and only time seeing it. I remember as a child, my mom was super excited to be taken to go see it by my aunt and uncle, who spent a lot of time in New York City going to shows and the opera. So they brought her along one time and oh my gosh, she was beside herself. And so that was the first that I heard of it. And that was my first understanding that it was a big deal.
Yeah. I never got to see it in the theater, but because I was a big band geek in the late 80s, early 90s, and moved from band into drum corps and all that, musicians and drum corps were drawing heavily from Broadway and Andrew Lloyd Webber. And so you had Phantom of the Opera was a big one that was used by a well-known drum corps, and Miss Saigon and all these. And so I had the double CD that you open that had the two CDs in the big thick box. And that was regular rotation. I listened to Phantom of the Opera. So the music I know well. And I could picture it in my head from looking at photos and stuff. Never got to see it in person though, but know it well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You remind me of that CD in college. So I loved Phantom when it first came out. Then I was in college, my freshman year roommate who loved musical theater. He set out to just torture me, I think, by playing songs, and albums over again. Like it would end, he'd start again. And one of them was Phantom. I learned to be sick of Phantom.
Oh, no.
Because of that. But Phantom is such a cool show. It's still, we saw it on a tour in Cleveland not too long ago, but it was one of the first shows I recall seeing that where you could realize, I don't know how magical a stage show could be, even though it's a musical. There's so many cool, like sort of magic tricks that are done throughout the show to make the Phantom seem so mysterious and powerful, and including the chandelier dropping, which is the most. That was that was all it was talked about when the show came out originally.
Yes.
When I saw it in Cleveland, however, it must be because it was a tour and they had just loaded it in.
Oh no!
Or maybe it was specific to this performance. They slow walked that chandelier down. It just there was a bunch of stagehands like slowly,
Squeak!
And some stagehands like were on stage ready to stop it. And, I mean, someone from the audience could have stopped it. It was so slow, and the terrible thing was I had built it up to my kids. I was like, wait till you see this.
Oh no,
so the chandelier's gonna blow you away.
And my daughter was so young at the time. She was like, "Is there anything scary gonna happen?" I'm like, "No, there's one thing. Don't be scared when the chandelier falls. It's fake, okay?" And then squeak, squeak. I was like, "Oh man, this is
not scared. No problem."
She was like, "Yeah, that wasn't scary at all." It's like,
you're right. Pretty lame.
Since opening on Broadway, the show has been seen by nearly 19.8 million people and has grossed over $1 billion.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Unfortunately, it never bounced back following the pandemic and was not selling well enough to defray its high weekly running costs.
Sigh.
So masks are flying at half mask.
Half mask. It's already
Chandeliers.
a half mask. So a half mask at half mast is a quarter mask.
Okay, quarter mask. Get your quarter masks.
Chandeliers might be at half drop, half.
It's only if it's nautical.
Crash.
If it's on land, it's half staff. But we're not going to go down that.
Oh,
I'm lost.
Oh yeah, because you don't have a mast on land. Yeah,
yeah, it's a technicality. Oh, sorry. Well, actually,
I was going to say, where's Future Robert?
If you have mast, that's on a boat.
Well, I said half a mask. Future Robert. All right, hey, in other 1980s news, Quantum Leap's new crew would love to get Sam Beckett back home. All right. Oh. So the reboot of NBC's Quantum Leap premiered last week. Did you guys check it out?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
no spoilers. Yep. We won't spoil anything.
No spoilers.
Nope.
I guess, what did you think? That's just an opinion of, what did you think about it?
I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Ernie Hudson's in it, so, right there.
Don't hurt.
No. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'm forgetting what compliment you gave him when we talked to him, Kat. What was it?
You forget the compliment I gave him?
I don't remember what you said.
You don't?
No, what was it?
Oh.
I can't remember.
I was riffing off of the movie, and I said he brought the sex appeal.
Oh, right. Sex appeal.
Yes.
That's right. You said he had sex appeal. Okay, I don't remember.
Yes.
You're not wrong. I never watched the original Quantum Leap very much. I sampled it. I saw bits and pieces of it, but yes, I wasn't really interested in this, not a reboot, continuation, sequel, follow-up, whatever. But saw the trailer, thought it looked really good. Watched the first episode. I'm in.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And the way they connected it to the regular one in so many little ways, many I missed, I'm sure, because I wasn't a regular watcher, but we talked about it before. Don't throw away what you had. If it was great, build on it. And they're doing that here.
Pretty recently, I watched the first maybe 4 episodes of the original Quantum Leap.
The Scott Bakula one, sure.
Yes. And so I was able to have it kind of fresh in my mind.
Yep.
And they're different, both very enjoyable. So
yes, it's funny. You're in a better position to Or you're in a good position to correct me, because my thought was when John said he hadn't seen the original, I thought if you watched it on Monday when it came out, you did. Because there was so much of it that I felt like I was watching a show from the 1980s.
Really? So you were a big fan of the original?
I watched all the original.
All right. Different frame. Okay.
It's not entirely a compliment. It felt a little dated to me.
Okay.
Oh, kind of retready.
Yeah.
Now, see, I wouldn't feel that because I didn't see it and didn't get my fill already. Huh.
There was enough little changes that, made it interesting, and there's some other critiques I have about sort of of the story, but I won't, we'd have to get into spoilers. But even some of the effects to me looked like straight out of the 80s.
Yeah.
So when they're driving a car, it's really bad.
Did you catch, there's one glaring bug, not a spoiler, at the very beginning. It's, so you know the conceit of how he's jumping into somebody, and when he looks in a mirror, his reflection is
I know what
the body he's in.
I know what you're going to say.
So he's in a van.
Yep.
He looks in the side mirror and he sees what he looks like. Oh, I'm this guy. He got out of the van. The side of the van is shiny. It looks like him.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yes.
I didn't notice that.
And that's the only reflection. And now I'm looking for reflections everywhere to see if they screwed it up. That was the only one I saw, but that was so early. And they had just shown how it's supposed to work. And then you see the reflection is him. And I'm like, oh, come on. Maybe in the age of streaming, they'll fix that in post.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
I enjoyed the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the soundtrack.
You know what's funny is we did that show as this 80s authentic, when he's in the 80s, it's like, and maybe because we're not in the 80s or we lived in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like they have to do things in these shows to let the kids know, I guess it's the 1980s where a guy walks
You mean the
by with
soundtrack, the 80s music that played around it. I gotcha. I thought you meant like the score of the show.
Oh.
the guy walking down the street with not only a loud shirt, but also a Walkman. And he's operating his Walkman while he's with somebody, talking to somebody. Like,
and the next guy had a boombox. So like, anything else? Anything else? Check.
The third guy was doing a Rubik's Cube. I mean, they go here.
Yeah. They hit on them all the tropes. You got them.
So among the many new faces, there's one that's already familiar to the show. Well, sort of. Because while the new series continues the original, which ran from 89 to 93, the cast is filled with actors that were so young that at best, they were in diapers during the first one. I looked up all these guys. Seriously, one of them wasn't even born yet. The star of the show was maybe 2, but that's fine.
Wow. Yes.
But anyway, that's except for Ernie Hudson, who Kat mentioned, because he plays Herbert Magic Williams, who heads up the renewed project in hopes of understanding the mysteries behind the machine. As it turns out, however, Williams is a veteran of the failed time experiment.
And that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, did not know that.
I was blown away when I saw this fact. Oh my goodness.
Like, I don't think they've revealed that in the first episode, right?
No, they're not.
No.
If you knew the show, you would know. If you were religiously follower, because you recognize the name maybe, but they didn't like beat you over the head with this, and they're kind of going to slow burn it. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah, no.
Tell the rest of it. That's awesome.
Super cool.
Yeah,
He's from season 3, I think, that character. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. That character that Ernie Hudson plays originally appeared in season 3 when he was a soldier in Vietnam, when Sam Beckett, played by Scott Bakula, leaps into his body.
Mind blown. That's so cool. I'm getting chills. At that time,
Christopher Kirby played the role, who's still an active performer, but not old enough to play someone who's in 2022 a Vietnam veteran.
Sure.
But in addition to that, and I guess supporting that is, according to Hudson, in addition to running the rebooted operation, quote, one of the things that was really important to Magic, his character, was Sam. He never made it back. He would love to get him back, end quote. Whether Sam Beckett will actually appear in the show, nobody knows. But we do know that they've offered or invited Scott Bakula to reprise his role.
I wonder if we'll get to find out what his experience was like when Sam jumped into him, right?
We've got to.
So wouldn't it be cool to learn, what was he up to? Where was he hanging out?
We kind of know, right? They were in like a waiting room of sorts.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we've seen other people when Sam is in them. It sounds lecherous. When Sam was in them in the past or wherever. Get out! We have seen some characters, not Magic, but we have seen some people in the waiting room. Yeah. This is just a phenomenal way. Sometimes I'm like, put me in the writer's room. You guys don't know what you're doing. These guys, they found a wonderful way to connect like viscerally back. Like this guy's not just interested in the Quantum Leap project. He was directly impacted by it. He was leapt into. He knows he was Sam Beckett for a short time. So he's super invested. it's the way to treat these old franchises, these old properties. And that's probably what made me love it twice as much as I did when I watched it, when I learned that this character is already part of the mythology. So cool.
Yeah, and you think the stakes for him are, the approval of his military bosses over at the Pentagon. Right. But maybe more than that even is him saving this guy who saved him.
Yep.
And maybe none of them actually know. Because how would they? I guess they would know. Like Ziggy would know and Al would know. But we don't know
But you'd have to ask. Right, you'd have to know to ask the question. You have to be going through a list of everyone who was ever a jump recipient or whatever they're called. But super cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So check out that. I'm going to certainly hang with it and see how, because then in addition to that sort of angle that they hold back in the first episode, they don't reveal that. But it's you could find it out as we did. There's a number of other secrets at play that I was surprised that they sort of wove into the story that I guess over the course of this season we'll find out.
Right. Even the origin of this series is not straightforward. There's a mystery person we don't know about. Right. There's a why did he leap? Because it was not planned. And there's a twist later that I won't even tell you about that is totally against the plan. It's there's enough in it to keep me watching. You're right, Will. I agree.
Yep. Hey, another 1980s news, and fresh off William Zabka's recent tease that we talked about just an episode or so ago, Sony has confirmed a new Karate Kid movie is on the way.
Okay. Bring it on.
The entirety of Cobra Kai, which first began on YouTube Red, I think, is available on Netflix. And season 5 just dropped on September 9th. So, but we don't know if there's going to be a season 6. And no spoilers, guys. I didn't finish the season yet. Really? Do not tell. No, because I got to wait for my wife. She's making me wait for. I would have finished it weeks ago, but
I know.
I might just have to watch it and tell her it's for the show. I mean, it is. She's got me waiting on so many shows to watch with her. I just
don't.
That backlog becomes unmanageable. At some point, you just gotta cut bait.
But anyway, so we don't know about season 6, and maybe there won't be a season 6 because per Sony Pictures, there's a new Karate Kid movie slated to arrive on June 7th in 2024. Although they provided little other information, the studio clarified that the film is the, quote, return of the original Karate Kid franchise, end quote. So it's not going to be another reboot like the Jaden Smith film with Jackie Chan from 2010.
Right.
Instead, it's going to be the Cobra Kai / Karate Kid or Karate Kid / Cobra Kai continuity. And like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, what is that? I don't know. Maybe we can't talk about it without doing spoilers because I don't know what happens at the end of the season. But
we can't really talk about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Well, so I can't drop any spoilers because I haven't watched any of season 5. I don't think I've watched season 4 yet. So boo on me. But we did talk about the fact that we were running out of story runway. Like we're tying off a bunch of loose ends. We have new characters we're introducing. So maybe you could do something with them because they're now part of the mythology. But a lot of the original actors are getting... Like, they're not going to anchor a new franchise for another 20 years because they're not going to be acting another 20 years. Yeah. So you're going to have to do something. You hope to continue that. But as you said, we talked a couple of weeks ago, and Zabka was the one who's like, maybe, who knows? Sounds like he knew when he was talking out of school. Yeah. Like he was kind of backpedaling, like, I don't really know. And then 3 weeks later, the news drops. So he knew.
Well, let me know when you guys have watched it. I'll probably have forgotten everything by then, so then I'll have to rewatch it, and then we can talk about it.
Okay. I'm wondering, since this is a movie, and there are some folks, even friends of ours that, our age, who have not watched a single episode of Cobra Kai, in spite of my urging, because I think it's a good show. Yeah. Does this film have to stand on its own? For folks who are fans of the first, I'm going to say first 3, but it's really first 4 Karate Kid films, because there is the next Karate Kid. Does it, and how do you fill in that gap in a film? Ideally sequels and movies, they somehow cover the territory by previous installments so that you don't have to have seen them, but there's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah,
there is. It's almost the Marvel syndrome where I'm afraid to go to a Marvel movie now because I'm not caught up with all the Marvel TV shows and I'm going to feel left out.
Right.
I didn't watch all the Winter Soldier. I didn't watch all, oh no. I guess, am I allowed to go see the next Marvel movie that comes out? Am I going to be lost? And look, Karate Kid is a big enough name that You could go off on your own story that's related to the series, but not following on a thread of that. But it's a gamble. If they do it, you're going to alienate some people. If you don't, people who are expecting it aren't going to see what they want.
It would be great if they could make it stand on its own somehow.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think that would be great. But
How many hours of Cobra Kai are there now? 30, 40, 50 hours? I mean, over 5 seasons, like 10 episodes a season or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. But I'll be there.
It's a lot of homework before you can go to the theater.
Ralph Macchio and William Zapka are in it. I'll be there. All right. Hey, that was enough of 1980s news. If you like the show, please like the show. There you go. Officially. Seriously, I like it. Look, seriously, do me a favor, okay? What is the easiest way for you to do something to support the show or encourage other folks to listen or know about it? Do that. What, Kat? Got something?
No, click like that.
Oh, you're clicking.
The
I
like
thought you were
button.
pointing.
Click.
Like, I have a statement to make.
Nope. I was just doing what you were saying.
I am not kidding.
Clicking's so easy. You do it a million times a day.
Do something important for something you like. Do it.
And then do something nice for this show, too.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? What was the first thing?
You said,
Wow.
if you want to do something nice for something you like, do that, and then do something for this show, too.
Yes, what did he say?
It's funnier when you explain it, isn't it?
Do it for the show first, and then go do it for the thing you like. In case you run
The
out of
thing you
energy.
actually like.
You have flexibility here. You just pick an order of events that works for you.
Right. I was being
All right,
humble.
hey, okay. So as I mentioned earlier, today on the show, we're going to travel back to the 1980s to a toy store. We're going to give Kat and John both $75 in their pockets.
Yeah.
And give them the opportunity to go on a shopping spree of sorts. So the first thing we need to do is travel back in time, and gratefully we have the technology to do that. So let's go back to the 1980s to a toy store.
So we're at the mall or the toy store. Is the toy store in a mall or just a standalone toy store?
It's the Toys R Us. Okay, it needs to be smaller, something smaller. So it's a KB Toys. Did you have that?
It's a
down
KB
there?
Toys. Okay. So,
It's a
so I'm going
KB
to go to the
Toys.
arcade. I'll come back. I'll have $15 left.
Let me put that on here. I got a spreadsheet. I got to manage.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you lost $60.
Is there an Orange
So-
Julius nearby?
Here's how this is going to work. You got $75 each.
Yep.
Okay.
You could spend any amount of your money,
Okay.
but you can only buy 5 items.
Oh,
All right.
And you're
okay.
done. So
Fair.
$75 for 5 items. You're done shopping.
Boom. All right.
Then we'll travel back in time to 2022 and see what the value of your take is if we were to sell it today.
Hey.
Gotta get back in time.
The other limitation is, and I'm going to put the little store on the screen here so you can see the different items that are up for sale. There's 14 items up for sale, and I'll tell everybody what those are.
Oh.
Now, once you select an item, I'll give you some more detail about it.
Okay.
At that point, you either got to buy it or not. If you don't buy it, you're passing it to your teammate with the opportunity for them to buy it.
Oh, wow. We really have a lot of parameters here.
So is there inventory? Is there one item on the shelf for each thing?
Yes. Once it's bought, it's sold.
Okay. So we can't buy the same things.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Wow.
Understood.
And that's the end of your turn. If you pass, it's the end of your turn.
Oh my God.
Now you get a chance to go again and buy something else, but by then items are going to be starting to run off the shelves. And we'll keep going until you guys spend all your money, or you both spend all your money or bought all your toys, or
Okay.
5
Got it.
toys. All right, so everybody knows we got something from, and right now they're listed by the franchise of the licensed product. Something from the A-Team, Dungeons and Dragons, Gremlins, Inspector Gadget, Gem and the Holograms, Knight Rider, My Pet Monster, Rainbow Bright, My Little Pony, Sectars, She-Ra, Teddy Ruxpin, Thundercats, and Zany Zappers. And some of those are exactly what they are, but others you won't know until we look for more information.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, and some of them I don't know.
Some of them you might not even know.
Yeah.
So, all right, to determine who goes first, and this time I have my 45 label here, or my album label here for Madonna, You Can Dance. Heads are, the tail side is the cork because it's really a coaster. All right, I'll flip this. Kat, you want to call heads or tails?
You call it, Kat. Go for it.
Heads, please.
Oh, you got it this time. Usually you don't
All
get it.
right.
Yeah, right.
Winner, winner.
All right,
Right.
Kat, $75. What would you like to purchase here?
Okay, so I'm just picking one thing at this moment, right?
Yep.
I'm starting with one thing. Oh my.
And I'll show you some more
goodness.
information about it. You can decide if you want it or you want to pass, but that's the end of your turn. You either got to buy it or pass it.
Buy or pass.
And hopefully this doesn't make it take 2 hours, and I should just not make that a rule, but what are we going to do?
Can I please hear more about the Knight Rider?
All right, cool. This is one of my favorite items at this toy store. It's the Knight Rider thermos and lunchbox.
Oh, look out. Look at that.
So David Hasselhoff and his talking car were one of the most iconic duos of the 1980s. Premiering in 1982, the show spawned some toys. But the Knight Rider lunchbox with the thermos might be the best of the Knight Rider merch. Now I'm going to give you additional bit of information. Every time we talk about one of these products, and it's based on the prices that, I could find. And I should say, thanks to Craig D'Onofrio, who wrote a piece on Work and Money earlier this year about the most valuable toys from the 1980s. That article provided much of the research that I used for this game. But anyway, so when you get to the future, this is going to be a used item. So some of the items you're able to keep mint on cards.
I was going to ask
some
that
in the
question.
box,
Awesome.
Some will have wear and tear. I'll tell you. So this one's going to be just as you see it, not in the box. It's going to be used. It's used. It'll be gently used.
But it has the thermos.
Yes,
That's the important
thermos. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I was hoping it was going to be like a little mini kit. So it's not exactly what I was anticipating. But I'll take it. I'd like to purchase this, please.
All right.
I wanted that one, Kat. I think you made a good choice.
I'm sorry, John. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think you did.
I can sell it to you later after the show.
I was wondering, it's like, is there some kind of...
I give you $8 for it.
Wait a minute. I didn't use it that much yet.
John, you're up. What would you like to buy from the 13 toys left at our KB Toys here?
Let's see what the cost is on that one. Why don't we stick with some 80s action shows? Let's see what's going on with the A-Team.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit, but it wasn't until more than a decade later that Galoob released a line of 6-inch figures based on the characters of the beloved show.
Nice incorporation of the...
Interestingly enough, these toys shared molds with an earlier Galoob toy line called General Patch, which are also sort of military figures, including one that looked like BA. For sale today is the 6-inch John Hannibal Smith action figure that comes with a full set of action accessories, mint on card. So he'll be mint on card when you arrive in 2022.
Oh, wow.
Sold.
Sold!
I will take a mint on card action figure for $5. I figure it's got to appreciate beyond $5. I'm not going to lose money. On card's a big deal, so I'm on board.
All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. So, Kat, you still got how much money you got? $65 left. John's got $70 left. What would you like to buy from our 12 products left here?
I'm curious about the Gremlins.
Oh. So beginning with the original Star Wars, as we know, Lucas was clever enough to, merchandise products and own the licensing for it. That trend continued to rise throughout the 1980s and got a boost from E.T. So Gizmo, the cutest character in the Gremlins, became the center of the Gremlins products. Manufacturers, including LJN, which made a lot of the toys that we loved in the 80s, produced versions of Gizmo as dolls, stuffed toys, and a bunch of other things, the latter of which became popular during the holiday season of 1984. For sale today is the posable Gizmo action figure.
Yes.
This is going to be, when we arrive back in the future, it will also be as it's shown here, mint on card, still got its clamshell intact there.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes, please.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I want this.
Is this because what John said about you can't go wrong with something mint on card?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good philosophy to follow. But also, it's cute.
Yeah, right?
Gizmo.
But you can't open it and play with it. You'll ruin the value.
Oh, I know.
What is the saying, John? One the stock and one the schlock. I don't know. What is the thing I'm talking about? When you buy two of something, one the...
What is it? Yeah.
Oh, can I buy two?
One the store and one the floor.
No, there's only one.
I don't know, rhymes, whatever it is. One to stay, one to play. I don't know.
Oh,
something like that.
That's good. That's
A
good.
lot of the toys here, I'm really, believe me, I'm like, I need to get this now, even though it's old. But I do, some of them I can afford, but I'm not going to tell you which now.
One to open, one for roping. I don't know.
One to open.
One for noping, one for hoping.
Noping.
One for noping. Yeah. Nope.
I like that.
Plenty of good things here, John. What would you like?
This is me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I feel I don't want to chase the money because the way I buy toys is I buy the things that I really like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to not chase down what I think is the most valuable.
Yeah.
I see Teddy Ruxpin as a red herring there because I could buy that because I've only spent $5, but you have it set at $70, which means I'm done and I have no other opportunities. I put all my money in there.
Right.
No Thundercats.
And who knows what kind of value, what kind of junky Teddy Ruxpin box, no box, I don't know. So instead I'm going to go with what I really like. So I'd like to know more about your D&D product.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the D&D Dungeons. So this is an advanced Dungeons and Dragons product. So even though Dungeons and Dragons was first produced in 1974, the toys for the Epic game weren't actually licensed until 1982. It was then that LJN, that company we were just talking about, was chosen to create the TSR Advanced Dungeons and Dragons action figure line. It was one of the largest toy lines made in the 1980s. For sale today, however, is the Northlord Great Barbarian action figure. He features a large range of articulation and several accessories, including an ornate helmet, shield, sword, and axe. He will be mint on card when we arrive in 2022.
Wow.
So let me tell you, if he were loose, I would have still bought him.
Okay.
But for mint on card, I will buy a $4 action figure. Absolutely.
All right.
I thought it was going to be a module, like $4. I thought it could have been like an adventure module, a booklet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because those kind of, I might have passed on that, but I like it.
All right, Kat, you can buy 3 more items and you've got $58 to spend.
Okay.
So you've got Inspector Gadget, Gem and the Holograms, My Pet Monster, Rainbow Bright, My Little Pony, Sectors, She-Ra, Teddy Ruxpin, Thundercats, and Zany Zappers.
I need to find out what the Zany Zappers are because that one I just can't recall.
Yeah. Does this help you? So Zany
what?
Zappers were big plastic glasses with tiny lights that covered your eyes, and the lights were activated with the handheld switch. The packaging suggests that kids could not only freak out their friends, but also, quote, fight with light, which presumably meant blinding one another while you were frantically clicking a button. When you arrive in the future, these will be in mint condition.
Wow. Okay.
Click the button.
Not in the package, but
Right.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, I'd like to buy these because it would be really fun to freak out
To
my family
blind John?
with them.
Okay. A future episode?
I could absolutely have fun with these while recording.
I think it's a good call, Kat. I mean, these are weird enough and maybe just kind of rare enough that I hadn't seen them. That might be one of those things.
So you weren't familiar with it either?
I
No.
vaguely
Zany
remember
Zap-
these.
Not me. Do you? Okay, that's one of us.
And there's some blogger online that suggests they were used, and it seems to be correct because I did take a look at it, as a prop in the movie Blade Runner, where it's supposed to look like some sort of futuristic
Oh, really?
glasses. Yeah.
Wow.
Just repurposed?
All right, sold, Kat.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, where's my sound?
Sold. Ka-ching. All right. So there's a cap of 5 things we can purchase.
Yep.
Is that right?
So
Yes.
you've only purchased 2 so far.
How much money do I have left?
You have $66 left.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the Inspector Gadget you have on the shelf for sale.
Since 1983, the Inspector Gadget franchise has spawned a whole trench coat full of gadgets, worth of cartoons, movies, video games, toys. For sale today is one of the earliest of those products, the Galoob Action Doll, with 8, quote, magic action features and 20 moving parts. The coolest thing about this is that the accessories include the Crime Stopper hammer, handcuffs, parachute umbrella, extension arm, and the helicopter hat.
Oh man.
When you arrive back in the future, this will be worn. It's a worn item, although it does have the box. It does have some wear and tear.
I'm gonna pass on this one. I think if Kat wants Inspector Gadget, she can have him. I mean, it's not that it's used. It's not that it's not mint in box. It's just
doesn't mean anything to you.
It doesn't mean that much to me. And when I go to toy shows and stuff, like I don't see has anybody seen an Inspector Gadget? I don't see him much, but I don't see anybody looking for him either. So I'm thinking,
Right.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong, but it feels like a sucker bet. Okay. What do you think? So Kat, you could pick it up. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. And either
could
way,
pick
John,
it
your
up.
turn is done then. And the Kat's going to go twice, essentially.
Of course.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
We still have the 5 limit. Right.
So, Kat, you want this one?
I feel sentimental about Inspector Gadget, not because I was super into it, but my brother was. And he was, I was 11 when he was born. And so he was watching this show all the time.
I loved it. I'm your age and I loved this show.
I know. No, I liked it too. I mean, I watched it with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was for him. It was a huge deal. For me, I enjoyed it, but and so I feel sentimental about it because I had lots of exposure to it.
Yeah.
But I would like it.
It was huge for me too. Oh, okay. She wants it.
Yeah, I want it.
All right.
All right. Inspector Gadget.
I'll give it to Will.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, let's find out how much it's worth. You may want to sell it to me. I don't know.
Oh.
What if nobody bought it? Would it stay on the shelf for later, or would he throw it away? Would it be gone? I don't know.
What?
We never find out. What if Kat had passed on
Yeah.
it? Would it be sold or still available to buy later?
No, I would take it off. Oh, no, you know what? That's
It'd
a
be
good
gone.
question. Let's make a decision. No, we should probably leave it available. I think you're risking losing it.
Because what if I changed my mind later and decided to pick it up? You know,
but if Kat, the idea is, I guess, if you pass on something that's really valuable to your partner, they should get a chance to get it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But not sacrifice a turn, I guess. And just to get stuff off the shelf faster, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Kat bought Inspector Gadget. Okay.
I did.
Kat, it's actually your turn, too. You could buy one more item.
Okay.
And you've got $35 to spend.
I do?
Yeah.
Right? All right.
Yeah, well, according to this, unless I screwed this up.
I wasn't paying attention.
According to this, you spent $40 so far.
All right. That's cool. Can I see the She-Ra?
Oh, right, She-Ra, sure.
That's a clever use of your remaining funds.
Yes. It's sort of the, I'm trying to maximize my dollars here.
I haven't been telling anybody any of the cost of these things, have I? All right, whatever.
Oh, no.
$33, the She-Ra castle.
It's a castle. Wow.
Yeah, so She-Ra, if you don't know, she's the twin sister of He-Man. And like her super-powered brother, she had a toy line that predated her animated series. It was essentially created to be for girls what He-Man was to boys. And at the time, she was unique in media, in which was mostly dominated by male characters beating up the bad guys. For sale today is the Princess's Fortress, the Crystal Castle. When we travel into the future, you will no longer have the box.
Oh, okay.
It's costs today, however, $33.
All right. I didn't happen to be like super into He-Man or She-Ra.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would have enjoyed this as a kid. And also, it looks like a fun place for Inspector Gadget to hang out and play in. So I'm going to get it.
All right. That's a way of thinking of it.
Well, so you got $2 to go down to the Orange Julius and get you a drink while I finish my shopping. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. So there's nothing, as John alluded to, there's nothing worth $2 or costing only $2 on the board here. So Kat is, and also she bought her 5 things, so she's done either way.
I got my 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure.
All right, John.
So I think I'm still at $66, as you told me last time, I believe.
$66, and you could buy 3 more items.
I can buy 3 things. Okay. So I can expedite this. Let's start with, I see a $6 item under Thundercats. Let's see what's going on with that.
All right, Thundercats for $6. If you didn't see Thundercats, I love Thundercats. It was a very exciting cartoon about the interdimensional sword-wielding human-like animals who may or may not have been wearing clothes. I don't know. Fighting against the demonic mummy. A toy line, like much of the toys like we talked about, were essentially commercials. So a toy line, of course, accompanied this show with several dozen figures, vehicles, play sets produced from 85 until 87. Here for sale today is the Tigra action figure with Battle-matic action arm. Ooh. He also comes with a weapon and a companion Thunder Kitten, the smaller Wily Cat figure. This character will be mint on card when you arrive back in 2022.
Wow.
All right. If it weren't on the card, I'd have passed, but I'm going to definitely buy it.
All right.
$6. Just on the value of the card. I mean, those things, they get crumpled, they get busted, they get ripped off of there. So, all right.
Oh.
So I got $60 left and 2 things, Kat.
Yep.
I feel like you've maximized this. So I should probably kind of explore a higher end thing. So I'm going to take a look at the Sectars, Will. You have a $50 item there. That looks promising.
Ooh.
So the hive with a Y.
Yes. Yeah. Look, we just talked about that.
I know.
The Sectars is one of the cartoons or one of the toys we talked about. It has a horrifying origin a few episodes ago.
I was going to say, isn't this one of the ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's the one that has the insect puppets that you can ride on.
Yep. The little spidery hand glove thing. Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, the Sectars only had a 5-episode cartoon show, which was traumatic enough for most kids.
It's for the best.
For sale today, though, is the main playset of the characters. The Hive, as John pointed out, spelled Hyve, stood about 3 feet tall. And this one in particular, although it doesn't have the box, it includes the spider hand puppet.
Oh, wow.
So, absolutely. A Sectars playset. I just don't see those much these days. I think there's a potential. I don't think it's going to be huge, but it's big. Sectars run around that long. Okay.
And it has the spider hand puppet.
I know.
John, you got one item to buy and only $10. There's only one item left on the board that you can afford. My Little Pony for $6.
Yep.
All right, let's show you what that is here.
And I think mathematically, it's probably going to be a sale, but I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah,
does my remaining cash appreciate over the decades? Do I get an increase in money I hold on to?
You know, I did account for the net, so we're going to net out what you spent from your earnings.
Okay. Yeah.
But you're right. I should have done appreciation on the $6. That would have been even more
Right. If I just
clever.
keep $6,
Oh, dang it.
There's an investment
in
right
35
there.
years, it'll be worth $30, right? Yeah.
Or can he save it for the arcade? Like, can he go?
Yeah, just get the enjoyment factor out of it, which has no money value. It's priceless. My Little Pony's been around, been a favorite for girls for the last 40 years and a favorite among creepy adult men for at least the last 20 of those.
Yo, bronies, we're looking at you.
The popular cartoon and movies spawned a number of products, including this item, a first-generation Rapunzel, which has her namesake's characteristically long and literal, in this instance, ponytail.
Yes.
Aha,
Literal.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
$6.
I think the math says buy it, and it's not worth much. I'll give it to Kat. So.
All right.
Aw. Wait.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're giving up your Inspector Gadget.
Oh, yeah. We can trade
Little
around.
brush. Does it have a little brush with it? I'm wondering.
I want to know, does it come with a scrunchie?
With the scrunchie.
Yes. For that ponytail? Does he have
Scrunchy.
a scrunchie?
Scrunchy.
All right, maybe I should just show you the items that were for sale that you didn't buy. How about that? Should we do that after?
That'd be fun.
I'm curious.
Let's do that now.
Yeah.
Let's do that now.
Yeah, what
All
the
right,
heck
so
is
what
a
you
gem?
didn't- Yeah, what you didn't buy was an item from the Gem and the Holograms toy collection. Which,
I just skipped the stuff that I had no real attachment to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
the cartoon and doll line both launched in the mid-1980s. Gem and the Holograms was the hip answer to Barbie. You know, they weren't like the straight-laced blonde doll. They were rockers.
MTV generation Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were rockers. They had 80s style clothing and 80s high hair. Here for sale is Vivian Video. That's her nickname. Montgomery, the talented young filmmaker who makes the Holograms music videos. She comes with various accessories, including a cassette that has some of Gem's hit songs on it.
Oh, actually, that's pretty cool.
At the time, it sold for $12.
Okay.
Also, one of the items that you passed on was My Pet Monster. Do you guys remember this thing?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like the name more than the actual thing.
Having seen it.
There wasn't one in my house.
I was considering that one, actually, because I didn't have the attachment to it, but I remember it. At least.
Yeah, this one was another one of the toys created by American Greetings, who also brought us the Care Bears.
Oh.
It was the teddy bear for 12-year-old boys who didn't want to admit that they still liked stuffed animals. He came with chains even to make him as masculine
He's
as
cool and
possible.
gross. He looks like a Muppet. He looks like Animal a little bit, doesn't he?
Oh my gosh.
And like what's his name? Sweetums, kind of. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was totally going to say, it looks like some kind of Muppet or Sesame Street monster.
And the chains that bind him here also
was good.
doubled as straps that you could use to carry him on your back.
Oh.
Because, if you're a 12-year-old boy who doesn't want to be like stuffed animals, you want to carry him around on your back.
You want to carry it on your
You
back.
want to carry him around.
From the Rainbow Bright, everybody knows who Rainbow Bright is. We recently watched their TV series that like Sectars, began with a horrifying, began with a horrifying origin of the character.
Yes.
I watched that series. I can't get it, or that episode. I can't get it.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, when we talked about them, a few episodes ago, I watched it.
Yeah.
But among the many product tie-ins, Mattel sold a soft 10-inch doll. For sale today is the Moon Glow doll. She would have come without a box. All right, what else? Let's see. You also passed on, finally, the Teddy Ruxpin. Everybody knows what Teddy Ruxpin is.
Yeah. I think it's probably a good investment, but I was afraid that it, collectively the other items might have outpaced the increase on a Teddy Ruxpin. And you priced it so high, it would have been, you could get two things tops. So.
Yeah, so the Teddy Ruxpin in the 1980s, where we are now, has cost $70.
Wow.
With over 7 million units sold, it was everyone's favorite talking teddy bear, and probably the only one as well. His eyes and mouth moved. He told stories through 60 tapes and occasionally sang Ozzy Osbourne. This one today would have come with the box.
Now, if you had been selling his companion, was it the worm? That was like a buddy for Teddy Ruxpin?
Yeah, not the glowworm.
Wasn't glowworm. Whatever he was.
Yes.
He is like super in demand because there weren't nearly as many of him, but it was just Teddy, so I passed.
Well, good. See, and then John would have known about its value too.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing.
All right. Hey, guys, let's travel back to 2022 and see how you made out. How should we do this? I'll tell you. I guess let's go down the list of the toys that you purchased. Tell you who
the
purchased
world is
it.
totally different. Did somebody step on a butterfly? Holy Christ! What did I tell you about this, Will? Oh my goodness.
No loud shirts or Walkman or guy doing a Rubik's Cube and carrying a boombox. Now we know.
You've wrecked the future.
It's gloomy and sad, and people sing like this.
They do. That's the problem.
If only we were joking. All right, hey, I'm just going to go in alphabetical order here. So, item purchased by John here was the A-Team 6-inch action figure.
Yeah.
The highest sale confirmed on eBay for a 6-inch figure from the A-Team was actually for Amy A. Allen. You purchased the Hannibal Smith one. And she was the A-Team reporter who followed them around. She came with a camera and a video recorder. A mint condition of her sold for $212 just last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
A set of the 4 main A-Team members sold for $500 just a few years ago. And depending on the condition, a carded A-Team figure can fetch upwards of $150, but a carded Hannibal usually gets you about $50. So you got $50 for him.
So one of the most common ones, but he's in a card, so I'm up $45. Okay.
Not
John,
shabby.
you also, and again, I'm just going down the line here in alphabetical order, and then we'll add them up, and I'll tell you who did what. You also purchased the toy from the Dungeons and Dragons line. 17.
I feel good about this one.
Yeah, 17 figure lot for these with the accessories sold for $360 in 2019.
Ooh.
And single figures in the box can still sell for quite a lot. For example, a mint on card Grimsword figure sold for somewhere in the $400 range just last year. But some figures, including this one, go for just $30, even mint on card.
Okay. It's only $4. Not terrible.
I was getting all excited for you there.
The net's still pretty high.
Thanks. Yeah. Something.
Kat, you purchased the Gizmo Gremlin action figure, posable action figure.
I think this is a good investment for you. I really do.
Do you think?
Okay.
I do. Yeah,
All
I think so.
right. Okay.
I would have bought it, but
If you guys remember, there was a toy commercial in the 1980s that had a Gizmo plush toy. That one sold for about $50.
Okay.
An open box 13-inch Stripe, the leader of the Gremlins, the bad guys, sold for $200. But the most valuable Gremlins toy from the 1980s is the Gizmo action figure. If it's still in its original clamshell packaging, as yours is, this figure sells for $250.
Holy crap! I knew you were going to nail that one.
I
Good
had
job.
no idea. Oh,
I don't see many Gremlin toys when I go to toy shows, and especially not on card. I see them in a bin where people have broken the ears off and crap. And so I felt really good about that. I didn't know it was that big, but I thought it was good. Wow, nice job. I got an uphill battle. And you got 4 more things to get.
Oh, man.
John, you trying to think if there's a more dramatic way to reveal these prices. Probably is, right? Yeah, probably is.
You played the prices right.
I was thinking a game show sounder. Yes.
All right, we'll just keep going. I'll keep going down the way I'm going until it doesn't make sense to do that. Kat, you also purchased the Inspector Gadget action doll.
I did.
From 1983. It's not only one of the earliest of the toys, it's also one of the rarest. You can buy one right now for $250.
Again.
What?
Home run.
Oh my!
I think this game is over. Wow. Well done.
And Kat, you also purchased the Knight Rider. This is something I want to get this now. If I could get this clean enough to use it still, I would get it and use it.
I would totally bring this to work with me.
If you'd pass in the lunchbox, I was buying it because it had the thermos. Typically, the thermos is the most valuable part of these lunchboxes.
Is it?
Yeah. Like a lunchbox will be $150. With the thermos, it could be $250. Yeah.
Wow.
Now this Knight Rider one, it looks like a metal lunchbox with a plastic thermos.
It does.
But when I was a kid, the lunchbox I had was a plastic Scooby-Doo lunchbox, which was green. I had this like in kindergarten and first grade, and it came with the thermos, of course. Oh, I loved that thing. I wish I still had it, although it would probably be nasty now, but.
Yeah.
But the Knight Rider thermos and lunchbox today sells on eBay for $150.
Oh my gosh.
If you're keeping score at home, Kat is mopping the floor with John.
I feel like I should just get the rest of Kat's and then I'll do the rest of John's. Let's just do that.
Go for it.
I do an affirmation like for money. I mean, this is great. I was sort of hoping it would,
Kat, you also purchased back in the 1980s during our time travel adventure shopping spree here, the She-Ra Princess of Power Crystal Castle. It is the most expensive single item She-Ra toy.
Wow.
Mint in box, they sell for around $550. Yours, however, which lost its box over the years, sells for only $170.
Only.
Oh, Kat's only up about $700. Poor Kat.
So, and then finally, Kat, you also purchased the bizarre Zini Zappers.
Yes.
In spite of how curious these things are, how odd they are, over 1 million pairs were sold.
Come
Wow.
on, in the dumper. $2. Help me out here. I need some negative.
They're worth less.
Ideally, that would help me.
Yeah.
Can it be worth negative $700? Do you have that available?
Still in the package, they sell for less than $100. Yours, which I told you didn't have the package, even though it's mint condition, would fetch you about $50.
All right.
All right. Should I tell you the totals at this point, or your total maybe?
No.
All right.
No.
All right. Okay. All right, John. Let's see.
I mean, you should, but no.
All right. I could do it at the end if you want.
No.
the
Tell
end.
me what's the
All
uphill
right. Kat
battle?
so far has earned $797. That's her
Oh my
net.
gosh.
Right.
Is that all?
For a 1,092% increase in her money there.
Wow.
I should add the $2 she saved from the 80s. So that's $799.
Oh, well, did you hang on to that all the way back? Nice.
Pretty sure I bought something else, but
They're the old $1 bills with the small picture of George Washington.
Oh,
really hard
right.
to come by. They're probably diamond certificates, knowing Kat's luck.
Yeah.
Each one sold for $3,000. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So
I'm
John,
defeated, but I'm curious. Lay it on me.
Mentioned a couple of the items that you purchased, including the
You did.
A-Team and the D&D toy. In addition to those, you also bought the Sector's Hive playset.
oh,
I did.
yes.
It was a play set. I felt good about it.
Now, while an unopened one can fetch you $1,000 unopened,
Oh,
I mentioned to you yours did not survive with its box. So without the box, it would fetch you about $425.
hey.
Okay. It's not the worst thing ever.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Wow.
In addition to that, John, you purchased 2 other items, including the Tigra action figure from the Thundercat collection.
Carded action figure. I like my chances.
I'm getting worried.
But I feel like I see them a lot, though. I feel like I see action figures from this line more often than not. Yeah.
Well, and like you pointed out, some of them are pretty darn expensive. A sealed Bengali toy sold for $1,800.
Ooh, damn.
Wow.
That's cat money.
Here, your Tigra action figure is worth $1,600.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
$1,600?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, mint on card.
Now who's mopping the floor with who?
Oh, man.
And finally, John, you also purchased the Rapunzel.
My Little
I
Brony.
need more gizmos. I need a couple
Yeah,
more.
My Little Brony. You both just purchased the Rapunzel My Little Pony figure. Some My Little Pony figures are worth quite a bit, but this first generation toy often sells for $2,500.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness
Okay,
gracious.
wait a minute. You had me all puffed up there. Oh
so
my
Kat-
gosh.
I lulled you into false sense of security, then I dropped the boom with My Little Brony.
So the value of Cat's collection is $797, as I mentioned, for
Hey,
a
nice
thousand,
job, Cat. That's cute.
a roughly 1,100% increase. John's toy collection is worth $4,534 for a 6,400 roughly a percent increase. Good Lord.
Well, here's the bad news.
Yeah.
I can't sell toys that I have acquired, so it's worth zero because I'm not letting go of them.
Oh my gosh.
And
I'll
bad
sell
news,
them for you.
Cat, I'm
You give
not
them to me.
I'm not giving you the My Little Pony. I said if it wasn't worth much, you could have it. I'm keeping it. Sorry.
Wow.
Maybe if you give up your Inspector Gadget to Will, I'll reconsider. Maybe.
You guys-
that was my plan.
You guys
Wow,
picked all
that
the-
was fun, Will. Well done.
good.
Fun.
And the ones
exciting.
you, ones you passed on, you didn't miss too much. Teddy Ruxpin would be worth about $250. The Rainbow Bright
That
Moon
was a
Glow
sucker
would be
bet.
worth about $200.
Okay.
My Pet Monster would sell for about $100. Wasn't there something else?
Gem.
Oh, the gem one? No one
Gem.
bought the gem one?
The Gem and the
No one
Holograms.
bought gem and holograms.
Oh,
She
the
was the
gem,
video girl.
the boxed video from 1986 would sell for.
Wait, let me
about-
guess. Can I guess? Can
Yeah.
I? $200.
Not too far off. $120.
Okay. Yeah. Far enough.
Hopefully, this was fun to listen to. I mean,
It was for me.
We kind of just decided, hey, we just do what's fun for us, and hopefully
right.
learn a little something and come along for the ride, the adventure. This has gotten me jazzed, though, to visit, antique malls and conventions with toy vendors to try to track some of these things down. Now, you can find them on eBay, sure,
Yeah.
But it's fun, and I know John does this. It's fun.
the thrill of the hunt.
Going through a box of they don't even know what they have,
right.
and you just
Right. What you do is you go through the box, you find the cherry thing that you want, and then you go, how much for the whole box? Like, I'll take it off your hands. Right. What you don't do is you dig in a box and go, how much for this one? And then they go, let me look it up. Instead, you overwhelm them with bullshit and you go, I'll just take the whole box if you want to get rid of it. I mean, like, the $50, am I going to include the tub? Because I'm not, okay. And then you go, then you walk away because you've made a killer.
You're so devious.
Nice. All right. That's the show.
There it is. And speaking
of that's the
our
show. Speaking of the value of something vintage.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Our valuable show is brought to you every week, thanks in part to our early adopters like Kathy Burke, Rick Parker, and Karen Flieger. And thank you especially to our Secret of Our Success Level Patreon supporters, John Henderson, Craig Coletta, John Kominski, Marcus Taylor, and Tony Great.
Awesome.
Tony Great. It's funny that his name's Tony
What a
Great.
great bunch of people.
He's great, yeah.
They are all great.
Yes, thanks, guys. And please, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't want to give us money to be on Patreon, which you should do. Maybe I shouldn't even say that. See, John's much more successful podcast because he knows how to ask for things. I don't. I'm still just doing it for fun. 10 years later.
Is that how you measure it?
Okay. Some point later, I'm still be like, I still haven't figured out how to monetize this thing. Or I should say, break even. Right? I mean, that's the goal.
The trick.
That's the real trick.
That's the trick.
I'm definitely sending him an Inspector Gadget.
But you could visit our
pawn it. Yeah.
Anyway, find a way to help us, free or otherwise. Okay. Hey, we will talk to you next, and then we'll be valuable in the future or something. I don't know. I don't know how to connect it. Whatever. Hey, we will talk to you next time on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Bye, everybody.